Got another round of some pretty amazing vintage cricket card pickups. Got a full set of Series 1 Bradman records here, which I'll go through. I've got a nice little lineup of Jack Hobbs cards that I'm excited to talk through. Have some signed cards, including some very important ones, like the Dennis Lillee and Patty Hendren rookie cards. This one is probably the most special card in this lot, and I will talk about George Giffen and this set, the old Judge set. There's a W.G. Grace from Cohen Weenan, and then these are stamp cards from, I believe it's the Boys Realm or Amalgamated Press. So anyway, let's go through these. I'll actually go through the Bradman records last. So if you're interested in seeing those, make sure you watch till the end or fast forward if you're not interested in some of these other ones. But I'll start here with Hobbs. So I've had these for a while. These are the Panache series. These are early 1920s. Godfrey Phillips. You can see that these are actually two different versions of the small one. They have different sized lettering here at the bottom. This one at the big 16C, that's the small 16C. You can see the backs, I believe, are the same on these, or pretty much the same. So you can see on the back, in exchange for 25 perfectly clean photos, a cabinet photo will be sent free. So you had to send in 25 of these tiny ones to get the cabinet one, which I'll share here in a second. This is the cabinet one. Here you have the larger size of the Godfrey Phillips. Same timeline, early 20s, 1922. Here you have the casket cigarettes, which is a really rare issue. That has the rare Herbert Sutcliffe, which I've shown in the past. The interesting thing about this one is it has a blank back, which I'm not sure. I need to do a little bit more research about that. I know it's rarer, which the caskets are already rare, but I'm not sure why this one has the blank back. But yeah, here's the cabinet card. So this is a very beautiful large photo, which, back then large photos were pretty rare. It's the same number, 16C, as the small ones. But yeah, really nice clean copy on the front. The back, it looks like it was glued down, but not too worried about that. Really cool, glad to have that. I'll go through some signed cards really quick. The Patsy Hendren is a very faint signature, but a nice one. And again, this is 1922, which is when his rookie cards show up. I think that might be my first on-card Hendren autograph, which is pretty cool. I have a few Lillees, but this is really nice. This is a very high-quality copy of Lillee's rookie card with a really nice big signature over it. So that's a pretty special card for my collection. Glad to pick that one up. A couple nice early Arthur Morris cards. I believe these are his third cards. He had one from 1946, one from 1947. These are both from 1948. The much rarer Douglas Fountains of Merit card, Fountain of Merit. And then the Kitties, both from, again, 1948. And here you have a nice Keith Miller. I think this was my first ever Keith Miller signed card. A nice copy of his 1953 Morning Foods. Very nice one as well. All right, so now let's talk about this guy, George Giffen. He was known in some circles as the Australian W.G. Grace. So he was a contemporary of Grace. This is actually from the late 1880s. I want to say 1888, but some people might say 87 or 89, but late 1880s. Old Judge, which was a New York based cigarette company that's known mostly for their baseball vintage cards. Some of those are extremely expensive. This one was not cheap, so Old Judge cards in general are expensive, and these Australian ones are more rare even than a lot of the American issues. So My understanding is these were printed in the U.S. to be distributed in Australia, so sent overseas, and these were distributed in Australia. The most expensive or most valuable Old Judge Australian issue is the W.G. Grace, which is considered a rookie card, and those I think have sold for, I don't know, $10,000 to $20,000. I think this is the second most important card in that set, and I was really happy to pick it up. Giffen was a legend and had perhaps the greatest single performance of all time. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I want to say in one match he got a 257 with the bat, and he picked up 16 wickets with the ball. He was the first ever all-rounder to get 1,000 runs and 100 wickets. So, one of the great all-rounders, especially maybe the greatest early all-rounder, perhaps besides W.G. Grace. This is a 1903 Cohen Weenan. So a lot of Grace's cards are extremely expensive. This one seems to be more reasonably priced. I'm guessing because it's kind of an odd issue. These were Silhouettes was the name of the series. And I guess you were supposed to marvel at his giant beard. This is, again, a later career card. Grace was already, way past his prime at this point. But a nice card I didn't have, was happy to pick that up. And then these, as I mentioned earlier, are from one of the boys' magazines from the early 1920s, I want to say, or these might be a little later. I got to look up the date. But, didn't have any of these. You can see they're thin paper. You can kind of see through them. And 4 legends, right? You got Woolley, you got Hobbs, you got Rhodes, and you got Hendren. So that's the most of this, and I'll just end with a little bit of info on the Series 1 Bradman records. These were produced by Allen's, which was an Australian company that had different products, and some of these images are very iconic. Obviously this is the same one as the McNivens, but just all the photos are really nice. This is kind of a mixed condition set. None of them are terrible, but none of them are excellent plus. They're all kind of in that good to very good range, I would say. Maybe a couple a little bit less, 1 or 2 a little bit more. But this is an 18 card set. So again, this is Series 1. It's an 18 card set, but actually it's a 20 card set. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 through 15, 16, there were actually 2 versions of 17 and 2 versions of 18 with the same back. So you can see they're all numbered on the back. Allen Steamrollers. And, each card talks about a different amazing record that Bradman had. And these were produced in the early 1930s. I want to say 1932. Here we go. So has commenced the season 1932-33. So that seems right. But here you can see the 17s had different fronts, but the same back, and the same with 18. So I think that's really the challenge of completing this set, is finding all 20 issues. There is a Series 2, which is much tougher to complete. Including variations. I believe it's 39 different cards. Jody Bridges' book lists all of the Bradman's records at R8 or R9, with most of the Series 1 is R8, which is extremely rare, and then the Series 2 as R9s, which are even more rare. So there you go. Happy to pick that up. I've kind of waffled at the Bradman's records over the years. I had an opportunity to pick up a set a couple years ago for an even better price. I did not do it. And I've had an opportunity to pick up individual cards and didn't do it because I figured maybe I'd pick up a set at one point. So finally pulled the trigger, and glad I did. When you're building a Bradman collection, I feel like you got to have these as part of it, and happy I have them. Thank you for watching as always. And if you have any questions or any thoughts, let me know.